Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo, this is 3 Buck Theater, and this is my review and recap of the Orville Season 1, Episode 2, Command Performance. Now, the episode starts with Bortus approaching Ed about getting 3 weeks off of work so he can go and give birth to his child. His paternity leave, so to speak. When Ed inquires as to how a single-gender species gives birth, Bortus tells him they lay an egg, and him and Kaylin, his partner, have to be there with the egg for 21 days in order to bring it to hatching. Ed makes a couple jokes. They're kind of dumb, they kind of fall flat, and that's the whole point of the scene, obviously. But the key takeaway, aside from Bortus being gone from the episode, is a bit about Kermit the Frog on Ed's desk and how Ed uses him as a bit of an inspiration for how to be a solid leader. So looking at how Kermit the Frog leads the Muppets gives you an idea about how Ed views his command on the Orville. I don't know if I'd say it's the most apt way of leading, but at least now we get a better idea of what kind of person Ed is. At least a better idea. Then we find out that the Krill, the alien species from the last episode, have attacked a vessel called the USS Bellario. Now, when the team gets there, the Orville gets there, they discover that the ship is in fact holding Ed's parents for some reason. And they engage in a bit of back and forth. You know, one of those scenes about parents who haven't talked to their kids in a long time, and they're like, "Oh, you going to getting checked out? You going to getting your colonoscopy? You don't want to get a sesame seed lodged in there where it can manifest into an inflammation." And of course, Kelly's there, and so there's a bit of awkwardness involving the infidelity. That is going to probably be a gag they run with for quite some time, but it does make sense in the scene given the fact that the mom and dad are probably not too happy with running into their son's ex-wife who cheated on him with some blue guy from the first episode. So then they decide to kind of end the awkwardness by Ed and Kelly jumping on a shuttle and heading over to the Bellario in order to see what's going on and make sure his parents are okay. Now, on the trip across the way in the shuttle, they get into a bit of a back and forth about their relationship, about a little bit about why it failed, and this again is going to be something that's going to be going on for a bit until we finally just kind of knock it away, and they go and they knock some boots, because that's clearly happening at this point. That's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's written probably by episode 7. Maybe. And Kelly ends up making herself a cannabis brownie in the food replicator for some way of getting around meeting the parents. But of course, once they step off the shuttle, they get beamed away to someplace unknown, and we find out that the USS Bellario isn't a ship at all. It's a hologram placed there as a trap by some unknown species. Now, when Ed was gone, he left Alara in charge because she is the ranking member because, Bortus, who's lieutenant commander, is off, having his children. And so Alara doesn't quite know what to do, so she basically wants to go and find him, but she's always questioning herself and trying to make sure that she can do the right job. But when they kind of lock down where the Ed and Kelly are, she's told by the Union not to go after him. In fact, to return to Earth in order to basically write Ed and Kelly off as lost in mission, KIA, MIA, so to speak, where the Orville will get a new commander and a new XO. But this is when we find out that Kelly and Ed are actually not dead. They're quite alive, but they are now trapped in a zoo that the Calivan run. Now, the Calivan are a very technologically adept species, and what they do is they go around and they find other species and other races that are less technologically adept than them, and then they just kidnap them. And there's a line in there that Kelly makes about how we, being the most advanced species on our planet, did the same thing because we felt we had a right to it. So very interesting parallel with kind of how maybe Barnum and Bailey ran things on the circus or how zoos operate, so on and so forth. They didn't really delve into the socio-political nature of it at all, but it was interesting nonetheless. You see a couple other creatures that are there that are some other species, like a dude with spikes all over him. It looks like a crystal, kind of like a really low rent cosplay version of the Night King from Game of Thrones. You have another green guy that clearly has like a kind of a Fu Manchu mustache, and a little kid a little kid. We don't know the species of any of these people, but they're clearly trapped there. And then Alara wants to be able to try and, earn the respect of the crew, who hate her at this point because she's decided to go back to Earth. She then basically realizes that Ed would do the same for her, and she changes her tune and says, "Screw it. If I get fired, I get fired. Let's go off and save our friends." Now, when they get to the planet, they realize that because of the Caliban and how they are, they need to have something that's more technically adept than they are in order to kind of get down there. This is where Isaac comes into play because his species is nothing but technology. So they basically use him as a decoy in order to get onto the planet, into the zoo, and to find Ed and Kelly. And when they do, they have to go then work a deal with the zookeeper in order to get rid of them, or to get them free. And in the process, they free both Ed and Kelly and the little boy that they want to then return to his mom. And when asked, what did you trade them in order to get them out? Because they're a zoo and because they want numbers and they want people watching and they want people to see all the, the different species. And I guess you could say some of the craziness of the species because, it's like a theme park. It's an attraction. They want a reason. Basically, Gordon gave them access to all of the reality TV shows from the 2000s, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Duck Dynasty, The Bachelor, Real Housewives of whatever. I think we were looking at Real Housewives of New Jersey or something is the one that they showed us. I don't watch any of those shows, so I have no idea. But it was interesting in how they gave them reality TV, and that was a big draw. And that was like the best ratings, the best attendance levels that they've ever gotten from any of the people, the Caliban who have gone into the zoo. And then of course, Alara gets a sapphire star, which is an accommodation, and everything is all back to normal, with the exception of the very last bit of the episode, which has Bortus and Kaylin, who, by the way, is played by Chad Coleman, just in makeup, witnessing the birth of their child. As the egg hatches, they realize that they have given birth to a female, which Bortus says that's impossible because this is a single gender species. So that's clearly going to be setting up storylines down the road, right? That's clearly going to be establishing plot devices that are probably going to carry the arc through the course of the 13 episodes of the season. And I was wondering if they were going to do that this time around. I was wondering if they were going to treat it like a single standalone episode, if they were going to start like laying kind of the groundworks for arcs that are going to carry the first season. And I think this is going to be that arc. You figure this is a big deal. This is a single gender species that now have a female among, that has been born. Clearly, Bortus and Kaylin are going to have to hide this. They're going to have to keep this to themselves, but word is probably going to spread, and the Orville is going to be tasked with keeping them safe or getting them someplace safe, so on and so forth. And that's, again, I think going to play in heavily to what's going to happen, given the fact that this is a new phenomenon, given the fact that, they're an exploratory vessel. That's going to be into it. So I think that's pretty cool, actually. Like, the episode it was a little bit of a weak start, I'm not going to lie. Some of the jokes fell flat, like the opening with Ed fell flat, but I feel like that was pretty much part of it. You get towards the end of the episode, as it starts kind of ramping up a little bit, there's a lot of good humor between Seth MacFarlane and Adrian Palacki that I really liked. And I liked the idea of the zoo. I liked the concept. I liked the designs of the other aliens. And I would have liked to have spent a little bit more time unraveling that and getting to know those particular characters and what those species are. But I have a feeling that we're going to learn more about them as time goes on. As I've said before, this feels like more Star Trek than Star Trek Discovery does. This is about hope and optimism, which is pretty cool. And the episode definitely is setting things up going along. They still haven't given a lot with Gordon or Isaac. This is definitely an Alara episode and a little bit of a Bortus one. To be fair, this is what happens in the first season. You'll get your initial couple episodes that have the key cast, a couple members, and then you have episodes that are dedicated to every other supporting cast member in order to help flesh out their character. And that's essentially what's happening here. This whole episode is about Alara questioning herself, questioning her judgment, questioning whether or not she was right to command, because she had never been put in a situation like this, because she's only a lieutenant, not a lieutenant commander or a captain or an XO or nothing like that. So it was good that she was able to come around her fears and also basically kind of put her foot down and work with the Caliban. Although that scene was great with Isaac, because Isaac, being the more technologically suited person, kind of commands authority from the Caliban, and he says, almost like demands that they speak with Alara, and the Caliban's like, "What, you want me to talk to her? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here, man? Like, what's going on? Like, what the hell?" right? Like what the hell you want? And it was an interesting take on classism, and maybe I don't know if I'd view this as gender at all. This wasn't a gender / sexism thing. This was just like speciesism, right? This was just like, she's beneath me, she's below me. Why would I even remotely talk to her? Okay, fine, I'll do you this favor because you're better than me. That's how they view it. And again, there was some nuggets there of a greater society, greater story, greater world building that I am actually very excited to see more from. But I do want to know what you guys think about this. Did you like the episode? Do you think it flowed with the comedy? Did the jokes hit? Did they fall flat? Are you looking forward to next week? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been 3 Buck Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.